So, hello and welcome. So, if you, like me, recently watched the debate, did we start? Start again. So, if you, like me, recently watched the debate, you might be feeling some annoyance, some upset, some frustration, maybe even pissed off. Wow. So, because of what I do as a CSL minister, as an educator, I wanted to pause and take a moment to anchor, to align, to establish our commitment to maintaining not the current system, because the current system is not the most effective for all people, but maintaining the concept, the vision for democracy. Our commitment starts with us having the motivation and the action. So often I talk about, teach this thing called one's mental equivalent. And I share with people the idea that there are four things, four pillars: our thoughts, which include our beliefs and stuff; our words, which is all of our communication, whether it's text, email, body language, signed, spoken, doesn't matter. Our words, our communication; our emotions and feelings; and lastly, our behavior and action. All four of these, ideally, should be in alignment with the desired end result. What is our desired end result? Do we know? Because it's easy to watch that debate and let the frustration, the annoyance, the shift our perspective, and then we focus on the problem. Now, focusing on the problem has a time and a place, right? If your roof is leaking, ignoring the leak doesn't fix the roof. So you focus on, you make phone calls, emails. I need somebody to come and fix my roof. So the problem, or focusing on the problem, has a time and a place. And then shifting to solution. And what's after that? The manifestation of the vision. So what is our vision? What does it mean to create and to live in a world that works for all? It does not mean it works for those who are prejudiced. Doesn't matter what they're against. Color, gender, pick a thing. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about in a world that works for all, that consciousness, that belief system is healed. So their consciousness, their beliefs, their etc. are elevated. We are invited to determine what and how to show up. It's easy to complain about either of them, both of them. The aisle, the blue, the red. It's easy to complain about what they're doing, what they're doing, what they're not doing, what they're not doing. It's easy to complain about that. It's easy to complain about the roof that's leaking, the car engine that's not working. It's easy to complain about any number of things. Easy to complain. The invitation is notice what's not working and then do something to improve it, to fix it, to heal it, to address it. So right now, our invitation is to get into alignment with what it means to be liberated, what it means to be in an equitable culture and society, in an equitable world, what it means to take care of all people. Doesn't matter. Color, place of birth, LGBTQIA2+, doesn't matter where, doesn't matter who. How do we support? How do we take care? Because blaming is not taking care and is not going to heal anyone. So yes, feel the anger, feel the frustration about the bullshit that we see, that we are witnessing during the debate and other, because recently, Oklahoma, a school superintendent pushed forward the idea that the Bible should be taught in all Oklahoma schools. What? So see, it's not just one person or another. It's an entire consciousness that has been firmly enmeshed in this soil since the indigenous people were being murdered and removed from their land. The soil is still wet with their blood. The consciousness that started that is still here. We see it in many different places, schools, courts, businesses. We see it, churches. We see it, prisons. We see it. Question is, are we ready to heal it? Are we ready for that consciousness to evaporate so that a more equitable and just, emancipated system is in place? One that takes care of the land, the people, the earth, the water, the young, the older, that takes care of all people to such a degree that addiction, there's no reason to need to escape, to find such pleasure in, or to escape from such pain, and so drugs become How do we resolve and heal the consciousness that creates that? The consciousness that creates any prejudice, discrimination. Because just pointing it out is just pointing it out. My roof is leaking. Just pointing it out does not fix the problem. But it starts with, can we identify what is not working? And once identified, are we ready, willing, and able to roll up our sleeves, to do the work, to heal the world, to heal ourselves of our own biases, our own non-life affirming beliefs and consciousness? Are we willing to roll up our sleeves, to have difficult conversations, to address, to conflict and confront the things that are not working? If we are, if you are ready, willing, and able, then I invite you in this moment. I'm going to do a spiritual mind treatment related to everything I've been talking about. So simply breathe. And let the breath bring our mind and our heart, our thoughts and our feelings to this moment now. Because any change that is to happen happens now. We can talk about later, but we can't change later. We change now, which the ripples change that now moment that we call later. So we breathe in the present, right here, right now. And we allow our mind and our heart, our spirit and our soul, our emotions and our feelings, our beliefs, and all of this to come into this now moment. So regret of the past, not here now. Worries about the future, not here now. This moment now is the energy of possibility, the energy of change, the energy of life affirming change, transformation. Here now, as our minds and our hearts, our spirit, our soul, and all that we are as the divine incarnating itself now, here now, that energy, that presence, that power is what moves forward, is what moves from us, through us, in us, and as us, and into the world to such a degree that every person we meet, there's a connection. We communicate, we collaborate, we cooperate in ways that support one another, the beloved community, in ways that support and heal and transform communities and homes, families and schools, courts, prisons, and the whole system that we call our government. We change and transform ourselves because in changing and transforming ourselves, there is a different level of expectation where we expect our leaders to lead in life-affirming ways. We expect our leaders to protect and serve effectively, divinely, with integrity and purpose and vision. We expect our leaders to have the wisdom, the intelligence, and the compassion to do their job with responsibility. Our expectation calls forth a new level of expression that requires and demands that consciousness to show up. As Ernest Holmes said, the universe does not deny us anything. When we make a demand, when we state what we want with the expectation to accept, to receive, to embody that, and then we align our mental equivalent and take action, our lives change. It does not mean that the trauma, the pain, the sadness, the grief automatically, magically vanish. No. It means our capacity to be present with the pain, the grief, the sadness, the trauma, the frustration, the anger, the whatever. Our ability to be present with it changes. And in being present with it, just like a medical doctor, the doctor who is outside of the room cannot perform surgery. But when the doctor enters the room and is present to the patient, then the doctor can go to work. When we are present to the pain, the trauma, the grief, and the sadness, we are able to not, quote unquote, heal it and it's done, but we engage in the process of healing that is ever ongoing, like breathing, ongoing, eating, ongoing. It continues. Healing is not a one and done process. Evolution and change is not a one and done process. It is an ongoing, being attentive, doing the practice, praying the prayers, meditating the meditation, speaking the words, living the prayer. All of that is required and necessary to manifest a world that truly works for all. And so in this moment, in this breath, we are invited to get clarity of vision. What is mine to do? How do I show up as the healing presence of wisdom, of love, of compassion, of accountability? How do I show up as the demonstration of an effective leader? I cannot expect another to be or to do what I will not. So in this moment now, I let my mind, heart, spirit, and soul, and all that I am as the divine incarnating as me, to change and elevate my consciousness so that I demonstrate what it means for that vision to be made manifest. And so we breathe, because that thing that we refer to as the law receives the prayer, receives our thoughts, our words, our actions, our energy, emotions, and feelings. The universe responds. And we breathe. Because as I always say, prayer is not simply an activity to do. Prayer is how each person shows up. Washing dishes is prayer. Fixing a child's bicycle is prayer. Taking care of a neighbor's dog while they're away on vacation is prayer. Watching the debate with the intention of transforming consciousness is prayer. And so our lives are not simply prayer, but how we live, that is our amen. Our thoughts, words, actions, feelings, and emotions, how we are aligned with our vision and the ways that we show up, that is our amen. So as we breathe and we let the energy of our amen ripple throughout all of creation, we let that clarity sow new seeds of what an effective government looks like, how it operates, what it does, what the people do, and how that ripples through all education, colleges, schools, courts, businesses, etc., etc., etc. So that there is no more profit before people. It is always people and the purpose of peace and joy and love and support and care and that which is holy and sacred. That is how we choose to show up. That is how we choose to speak and communicate. That is how we choose to live this thing called life. And that is our amen. And so it is. Thank you for joining, for grounding, for aligning, for gaining clarity of our vision, because we know there is better, there is freer, there is more healthy. We know that this holy boldness that we have access to is right now. Right now is the invitation that we have. Will we RSVP? Will we show up and show out? Or will we simply sit back and complain? Because that too will become your or mine or whoever's prayer. Complaining or changing in life-affirming ways. Breathe. Blessings, and if you have any questions, because you may be new to CSL, Centers for Spiritual Living, you may be new to me, you may be new to this method of prayer, whatever it is, if you have questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you, much love, and knowing that we are living on purpose, aligned with the vision of a world that truly works for all.